We're fighting for everyday Americans, working class Americans, and middle class Americans.
Did you guys see anything going on with the shutdown so far? What's funny is the shutdown has been going on for like 20 days, not 15, 20 days. I don't even know. Nobody's talking about it. Like no, the news isn't really covering it. I don't
Nope.
have people in my life randomly being like, "Oh, the government shut down." Like it's the most unnoticed shutdown in the history of shutdowns.
It really is.
It,
Nobody really cares except for when troops are standing in bread lines.
I guess so. And that's the thing is like it's got to be because so much else is going on. Trump is flooding the zone with all of his shit. But like, have either of you guys had anybody in your just daily life like bring up the shutdown to you?
No.
Jesse?
I will be in front of a group of 20, 25 professionals every Tuesday, week in, week out. And every week, when I get a few minutes to say something, I'll ask by a show of hands, who's heard of this? Who's seen that? Zero.
Nobody.
I
So yeah,
mean, maybe one person out of 20 has caught wind of some of these stories. Yeah, it seems like most everybody, even those that are pretty well, influential people, pretty rooted into, what's going on in their own backyard, clueless.
gotcha. Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Real quick, I have a
Day
couple.
14.
Day 14, is that where we're at? Okay, so 2 weeks. The longest shutdown ever is 35 days, and that was under Trump in 2018. And it seems like neither side is budging at all here.
Good.
Real quick, we talk about how
Oh.
bad Democrats are at messaging. So I want to compare messaging real quick, left versus right. So first thing we're going to look at here is Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, speaking to Manu Raju with CNN.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, Manu, go ahead.
You've been doing this every single day, coming up here trying to pressure Senate Democrats. They've been not budging. They've blocked this bill time and time again. So at what point, for the good of the country, do you need to change your strategy to try to negotiate a deal with them?
It's a great question. Manu asks, why don't I change my strategy? I don't have any strategy, Manu. I'm doing the right thing, the clearly obvious thing, the traditional thing. That's exactly what Chuck Schumer voted for in March of this year and gave impassioned speeches was the right and only thing. I don't have anything to negotiate. I'll say this again to everyone here. We did not load up the temporary funding bill with any Republican priorities or partisan priorities at all. I don't have anything that I can take off of that document to make it more palatable for them. So all I am able to do is come to this microphone every day, look right into the camera and plead with the American people, as Chairwoman McClain said, to call your Senate Democrats and ask them to do the right thing. We're not playing games. They're playing a game. We're not. The strategy is to do the right and obvious thing and keep the government moving for the people.
Why not move closer to their position?
Their position is this, Manu. Their position is they want to spend $1.5 trillion in your tax dollars to fund nonsense overseas. They want to give $200 billion to illegal aliens. We are not going to do that. We're not going to do it. The American people don't want us to do it.
Okay. First of all, the Democrats are doing the right thing by holding the line for our healthcare system. And second of all, who is that dipshit woman laughing in the right-hand corner there? Who is that lady?
I don't know who she was. I'll get back to you on that one. She's a member of the House leadership. I'm not sure who she was. But real quick, I got to address a couple things there. First of all, he said nothing I can do will satisfy them. Nothing I can add or take out of the bill. No, they're being real specific. They want you to restore the ACA subsidies. If you don't do it, health insurance is going to spike for everyone, not just people with Obamacare. That's what they want. It's real specific. He's acting like, there's nothing I could even do. No, that's exactly what you can do. Now, the thing that they keep saying, we're like, they want us to restore all this money for illegal aliens to have health care. That's not it at all. The Democrats have done a pretty good job of explaining that. And the one spot you can say is, when an illegal immigrant goes to the emergency room, the government will reimburse the emergency room for that. That ended up being 0.4% of total Medicaid spending. So not at all a chunk of Medicaid, 0.4%.
If me or you go to any other Western country,
mm-hmm.
and actually this is a good time to pull this up because I've got a chart to show you here. Yeah, you get free healthcare. If you have to go to the hospital, if you go to anywhere in Europe or the Netherlands or almost anywhere in the world, Canada, probably even Mexico, I think, you get free healthcare. You hurt yourself, you go to the hospital, you get free healthcare. It's kind of crazy that we're in this universal healthcare. yeah, it's kind of crazy that we're trying to get rid of that
Well, and so
for other people.
you guys know that it's a law in America. It's a law that was passed by the House, the Senate, and then signed by the president that if you show up to the emergency room, they have to treat you without checking to see if you have insurance. Do you guys know what president signed that law into existence?
Republican former actor
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
You were on it. Yeah, Ronald Reagan in like 87 is the one who signed that into law. So now Republicans are mad that, oh, any illegal can just show up to the emergency room and get taken care of. Yeah, Reagan signed that into law, and it's a good law. It's the humane thing to do. If you're religious, I don't see how you could say that they should turn away someone having a heart attack in the emergency room because they don't have health care. That makes no sense to me. Sorry, docs, go ahead.
No, exactly. I mean, do you see this chart I'm sharing?
I do, yeah.
69% of global population has universal health care. 31% doesn't have it. Most of it's in Africa and
Middle East.
yeah, in the Middle East. And guess who we're buddy with now? The Middle East.
Yeah, they're our best friends.
Yeah, the US is the only developed country that does not have universal health care. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Every other country does this.
I'm with you. I've been bought into the whole Bernie single payer. Like I'm there with you. Real quick, let's check out. So we know that Jeffries and Schumer don't know how to message as well as the Republicans. I'll give Jeffries credit. Jeffries went on a Fox News Sunday this last weekend. He didn't do terrible. Let's check out. This is basically his rebuttal to what Mike Johnson is saying.
But they do need Senate votes from Democrats, and they've had some in order to move something there.
Which is why there should be a bipartisan negotiation. Now, my friends on the other side of the aisle, they seem to believe that health care is an extraneous issue. We don't believe it's an extraneous issue. It's a central issue. This is the wealthiest country in the history of the world. And people throughout this country should be able to afford to go see a doctor when they need one for themselves, their family, their children. We're fighting for couples which in this particular moment in time, for instance, a couple that makes $88,000 a year currently receives tax credits connected to the Affordable Care Act, pays about $8,000 a year, which is already too expensive. But if we allow the Affordable Care Act tax credits to expire, their costs will triple to $24,000 a year. That's unacceptable. And by the way, the states that are most affected are all states that Donald Trump has won. In fact, I think it's the top 5 states are West Virginia, Wyoming, Alaska, Mississippi, and Tennessee. So this is not a partisan fight for us. We're fighting for everyday Americans, working class Americans, and middle class Americans, by the way, who are also dealing with a cost of living crisis in this country because costs are far too high. Life has gotten more expensive this year, not less, despite the Republican promise that they were going to lower costs on day one.
Not bad. You got to say, he did an all right job there.
That was the best I've seen from him in a while. I mean, the guys
with him and Schumer. Here's the thing with him and Schumer, we're kind of grading on a curve. Like we don't expect much out of them. So if they do the basic bare minimum, it's like, okay, they did something. So yay. Now we got to say though, the Democrats are being really smart to make this about healthcare. Like that's the greatest thing they're doing because they could have made this about rescissions or about immigration or ICE. But healthcare is something where they're going to get the most support on from just the American people. Even Republicans are afraid of their healthcare costs spiking. So they picked the right topic. Jesse, I don't think we've talked to you about Democrat messaging, but what are your thoughts on just the right versus the left on who's winning the messaging battle?
That's tough. I think that the Republicans, unfortunately, are not just doing better with their messaging, though it's bullshit. They're doing better with it, but it's also, I feel like it's everywhere, right? Christine Noem is in TSA lines, right? With her looped recording that they just talked about more recently. They've got, the answering service at the White House set up with, Caroline
Leavitt.
Thank you. Golly, man. These people I see all day, every day. And when it comes to thinking of them, I just want to throw up and I go blank. Well, it's everywhere. So I don't think you can really avoid it. And that's the part that worries me the most is I feel if we could look at a pie chart of how much is getting broadcasted through the Republican side and what they're wanting to talk about, I mean, it's got to be like 80-20. Right?
Well, that's what worries me is how many people are walking around and they're like, oh, yeah, I heard we're in a shutdown. I don't really know much about it. The Democrats shut down the government. Like the people that are the lowest informed are just going to hear that. And like if you go on any government website right now, like across the front page is like the Democrats or it says like the radical Democrats have shut down the government, blah blah blah. Like, and they're not like that. Those are clear violations of the Hatch Act. You're not allowed to do that. They're never going to get in trouble for it. It's one of those where it's a rule without a punishment, but you're not supposed to be able to use tax dollars to campaign for one side or the other.
It's almost like let's just say the Democrats win the midterms and start impeaching Trump and he can't get anything done, and then we win the 2028 election and we get a decent president. We have the House and the Senate. Like, we could completely go after so many people for doing illegal things, not only in the Trump administration, but even like some of the journalism stuff. Like, there would be, I mean, we have so many cases we could bring against them and just start putting people in jail.
See, I agree we should, but I think all three of us, I mean, let's be real with what happened to the January 6th insurrection, people. Let's look at pretty much everybody in Trump's family, all his allies. I definitely see a lot of pardons coming up at some point.
Yeah.
Especially if he's got one foot out the door. I mean, I see just a blanketed pardon for everybody, the ICE agents, everybody.
Yeah. I think you're going to be right on that.
I don't see him putting 1 foot out the door, let alone 2 feet out the door. That's the
That's the thing. We're all talking like he might leave in 2028. I'm not sure.
No, that's not happening. Yeah, I think we're so far past, and that's what I meant. And you can cut this out, but that's what I meant by the big brother. I probably didn't use the best word to describe what I was intending, but there's no like, hey, my brother could beat up your brother. There is no big brother to help beat up their brother.
Yeah.
Right. Like, we're getting to the point, and that's part of what I texted you guys, not expecting you to see in the last 5 minutes, but the Connecticut Senator
Chris Murphy.
Chris Murphy, right? I've only seen a little bit of him. Big fan, at least, the way he speaks, the content that he talks about. But he's talking to the Senate about everything, black and white. Like, there's no hiding it.
It's a shame because he's not the most charismatic guy in the world, but like he's out there every day. He's putting a video online. He's going on every channel he can, and he knows his stuff. He's just not a real engaging speaker. Like, I wish that somebody that was an Obama type speaker had his go get it attitude when it comes to messaging, because he's out there doing more than every other Democrat except for maybe Bernie and AOC, which, by the way, quick programming note, Wednesday night on CNN, Bernie and AOC are having a shutdown town hall. I say keep all the other Democrats off the camera. Put Bernie out there as much as you can. Let Bernie be the face of the Democrats during this. He does a great job. But hopefully maybe some people will see some clips of that. And Jesse, I'm not clipping that. That was a good point, and that's staying in, just so you know. Real quick, Schumer. I got to tell you guys, Schumer had his best messaging moment I can remember in my lifetime. Again, we're grading on a curve here, okay? But compared to everything else you've seen Schumer do, you can tell he didn't come up with this on his own. They probably hired some group to come in and have him do a shutdown video. Awesome. Keep paying people.
It didn't happen to do with the Kentucky Fried French fries, did it?
It did not. That was the dumbest joke. Examples like that. He's up there and he's like, in the KFF, KFF. And he turns to Klobuchar and he's like, is that Kentucky Fried French fries? And he's like, dude, this is serious. Like, what are we doing here? Anyhow,
Poorly placed.
Yeah, it's just, but anyhow, he did a good video. Let's give him some props. Check this out from Schumer.
Now we're in a government shutdown. And you may be asking yourself, how the hell did we get here? Donald Trump and the Republican Party are hell-bent on taking healthcare away from 60 million people, closing community clinics, rural hospitals, nursing homes, all so they can keep giving tax breaks to their billionaire friends. It's a disgrace. So Democrats have 3 words for this: no fucking way. It's literally life or death. We will not let Republicans blow up our healthcare system. And this isn't the first time they've tried to do this.
Total repeal of the Obamacare bill.
Or the second.
Repeal of Obamacare.
Or even the third. You get the point. If Republicans are consistent about anything, it's about taking away healthcare from as many of you as possible. Let's dive into the facts. The so-called big, beautiful bill, which is really a big, ugly betrayal, cuts $1 trillion from healthcare and causes the ACA credits to expire. Insurance premiums will go up 93%. As a result, 22 million people pay more, 4 million lose coverage altogether, and even if you don't have ACA, your premiums are going up also.
Not bad.
That was good.
It's so good. I almost have to question if that was some kind of AI generated
Like I said,
footage.
he didn't write that script. He didn't come up with the concept. I hope they paid a publicist or somebody to do. I don't know who you would pay to do that. But A, we have 3 words for you. No effing way. Like, let's be blunt about this. Republicans are trying to take your health care. And then I actually loved when he first went to the board with his, I was like, this is about to get cringe. But he spelled it out real clear. This is how much the big beautiful bill took out of your health care. This is how much your rates are going to go up. This is how many people are going to get off of health care. Like, you got to make it real simple and easily digestible for people. I thought that was, and that went on for another minute. I cut it there, but it was a darn good video from Schumer. I'm shocked. I don't think he could do it again. I think that was a fluke, but let's
Does
give him
he
props.
go on to say how much? Because he said, how much did he say? $1 trillion from healthcare?
$1 trillion is the total amount they took out of healthcare.
Okay, and how much are the rich getting tax cut?
I believe he did point that out later, but it was like a
Okay.
3-minute video, and I didn't want to.
Okay.
I didn't want to make us watch the whole thing. But yeah, again, props to Schumer. He did a good thing. I don't think he can do it again, but he did a good thing.
I think he can do it again. I mean, he obviously had somebody write the script, and then he had a good videographer and lighting, and like
Yeah.
it was a production. They spent money and they had a production for the video, just like you do when you're running for election and you have election videos. Like,
Well,
you spend money to do that. But you sent me Bernie Sanders video the other day, and there was very little production, but it was Bernie Sanders speaking his mind as he's walking towards the camera, and the camera's moving away from him, and it was cheap, good, and effective.
Bernie's special because Bernie believes everything he's saying. That wasn't a script. Bernie wasn't reading a teleprompter. He didn't have anything memorized. Bernie just started talking about healthcare, and if you truly believe what you're saying, like Bernie does, it can flow right off the cuff like that. I don't think there's not a lot of politicians that can do what Bernie does.
Yeah, and even if he had a script, it was a good script. That's the thing.
Yeah, agreed. But anyhow, like I said, props. The other thing, real quick, you guys know who Chuck Todd is? He used to be the host of Meet the Press. He now has a podcast called the Chuck Toddcast. Good play on words, if you ask me. But I've been listening to it, and I got to say, it's actually pretty decent. But he had somebody on the other day. I can't remember who it was, and he was basically talking about how Democrats got the Obama election wrong. Like, they looked at it and they said, "Oh, we won, and we won on culture issues." That was the lesson we took away from Obama, was that we won on cultural issues. And his whole point here, that it was the guest he had on, was making a great point about this, but it was like, Democrats thought that, and then they tried to take that and use it again in 16 and use it again in 2024. And like, that's not why Obama won. Obama won on like a class warfare thing. He was going up against the rich Republicans, and we gotta, healthcare is a right, and we gotta maybe tax the rich more. And it was really a rich versus poor thing. And looking back at it now, you can see it. But coming out of that election, that's not what the Democratic establishment thought they won for other reasons, and then kept trying to play off of that same the Obama formula of how they won. Not true. I think it's going to take a Bernie or James Tallarico out of Texas. I've been hearing doing this, but it's a rich versus poor. I think Tallarico has a really good way of saying it. It's not a left versus right. It's a us versus them, or he says something like that. But that's where the Democratic energy needs to be focused at. And as much as I don't like to say it because I'm a centrist guy, like the people in the party that are more the DSA, the Democratic Socialist, whatever, like they're the ones that are spreading this message. And I think it's a message. We talk about all the time how people think about the parties in a flat line, like you're centrist or you're a little bit left or a little bit right or really left or really right. But like in reality, it's a horseshoe. And like the very far left is not too far away. Like the jump from the far left to the far right is not a far distance. Like, does that make sense?
Sometimes.
That's a good way of illustrating it.
It's the horseshoe theory. But,
sometimes.
But
I think some of it is left and right. There's definitely issues where the right and the far right and the far left are way far apart from each other. Right.
But on certain things, and I think on like financial populist issues like healthcare for
Yeah.
all, tax the rich, I think you could pull a lot of what we'd call the far right Trump voter would be very open to this message if they could hear it the right way. Because
If they could hear it the right way,
the way
that's the
they hear it
thing.
is from Ted Cruz saying, "Oh, the left wants to take all your money away." No, no, we don't want to take your money away. We want to take the billionaires' money away. Like that's
Yeah, and we'll go back to messaging because that's where the right has done well, where
Yep.
they were like they they keep their messaging on free healthcare is higher taxes, right?
yeah,
And that is 100% true, but like it's better overall. You're going to pay cheaper, you're going to have better healthcare for cheaper if you pay these a little bit higher taxes. And the poor aren't paying the taxes. Like
yeah.
we need to tax the rich more to get that healthcare into them. Like but the right's messaging since Reagan has just been like we're going to cut taxes for you. Everybody's going to get tax cuts.
Yeah.
And really they're just giving tax cuts to the rich and the poor don't really pay much in taxes anyway.
If I'm super quick, can I ask y'all a question?
Yeah, what's up?
Sure.
So, as far as the shutdown goes, and I know you presented this question earlier, but do you feel to some extent that there's not really a lot of skin in the game for the Republicans to be in any kind of rush to open it up?
Oh, I
Yeah.
think that they're
Like in
loving
any
this.
way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I think they're loving this because right now Trump is laying off people left and right.
Yeah.
He actually, I've got a video here in a second, but he's getting to cut social programs where, like, I guess legally he could do it. He doesn't. He's acting like he has to. Like, well, they shut down the government. I have to fire all these people and cut all these programs, but he doesn't. Nobody's ever done this before in a shutdown. But yeah, I think that the reason they're not going to budge on it is because they like the shutdown. Like, they're not going to admit that. They need to keep their front facing messaging basically saying like, "Oh, this is terrible. We want to reopen the government." But I don't think they do at all. If they did, go ahead.
Next question on that. Do you feel that, right, because a comment you guys brought up earlier was that we're not seeing a lot of content related to the shutdown, right? Do you feel, because I don't know, I saw something yesterday or the day before, and I get it. CNN has everybody, on that show, Democrats, Republicans, but it seemed a lot more right than what I'm used to seeing. And it
Okay.
seemed like the certain topics they were touching on, it didn't seem like they were talking about them the same way they were even a week before. And so part of me is just wondering if the media is suppressing a lot of that content intentionally. And so it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on, but it
I
seems
think
like there has to be a ton going on. We're just not able to access it.
I think on CNN, first of all, it depends on the show because, like, I agree with you. I think that throughout the daytime, there have been a lot of people that I think CNN overall has made a business decision to stay out of the Trump's crosshairs. They don't want to be Trump bitching about them being slanted or this and that. So they're trying to be more fair, which is a shift to the right, in their opinion. But like if you see like the late night host Abby Phillips, I believe is her name. Like if you see her show, it's definitely back to what CNN used to be. But during the daytime, for sure, I feel like this is calculated. I feel like they're seeing how Trump has gone after ABC, NBC, CBS. Right now, Larry Ellison is trying to buy CNN and HBO, and that very well could be going through. So I think a lot of hosts are taking a look at this and saying, "Oh crap! Like when Larry Ellison comes, if I'm the anti-Trump guy on CNN, I'm going to get fired." So they're making very calculated decisions to try to cover both sides fairly.
Yeah, that's not good when our media is kind of silenced like that.
No, it's exactly what Trump wants is like these lawsuits and all that. Like, sure, him getting $16 million at ABC, I'm sure he loves the money, but like it's more the message that it sends to everybody else. Like that's what the point of all this is.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and I've got a prediction. I think this is what's going to happen is Trump and his regime are going to lay off as many federal employees, cut as many federal programs as they want to, and then they're going to give into healthcare, and then they're going to spin it to where we saved your healthcare from the radical Democrats.
and it'll work.
Somehow they're going to
Yeah.
make that move.
It'll work too. Like they'll finally give in and extend the subsidies because it is going to hurt Trump more. Like especially rolling into midterms. Like there is an argument to be made that the Democrats shouldn't have even brought this up. They should have let it happen, and then when everybody's in financial pain because of it, said, "Hey, we tried to tell you it was in the big beautiful bill. Donald Trump did this." I don't know. That would have sucked. Like if they just let it happen without a fight, but it might have been better for them rolling into the midterms if they just sat on their hands and not said anything. You could make that
No.
argument.
Yeah, I think it's better for them to make the fight because I think that the American people want the Democrats to fight the regime. Like
Yeah.
I think that their base is getting a little riled up about everything that's going on, and the
Yeah.
more we see Democrats like Gavin Newsom, he's become the darling of the left at this point because, and he's still slimy Gavin or whatever, greasy Gavin.
It's Greasy
Like,
Gavin.
yeah, he's still greasy Gavin, but he's the darling of the left because he's fighting the regime.
Yeah, agreed. Real quick on all the programs that Trump is cutting. I got a quick clip from Trump, and I think this was earlier today in the Oval Office. Check this out real quick.
And now we're closing them up, and we're not going to let them come back. The Democrats are getting killed, and we're going to have a list of them on Friday, closing up some of the most egregious socialist, semi-communist, probably not full communist, we're saving that for New York, but semi-communist programs, and we're closing them up. We're not closing up Republican programs because we think they work. So the Democrats are getting killed.
What are the Republican? Oh, hold on. Yeah, what are the Republican programs?
The military. I don't know. I don't know. But here's the thing that I think Trump's going to learn the hard way. Like a lot of these, for instance, we all know some people, and I'm thinking of one guy in particular. I don't want to name him, but we know people that are like, yeah, all these people like, sucking off the system and, draining all of our tax money for blah. But then this person I'm thinking of has been on unemployment. I don't know how many times, has been on food stamps. And it's like, dude, you're that guy. But he's a Trump guy. So he's like, yeah, all these minorities, sucking the government money. Like, I think that Trump and Republicans, most of them, there's one of them that realizes it, but most of them don't realize how many Republicans are going to suffer from these left-wing programs that he's cutting. Like Medicare, Medicaid, they've already shown that like the top 5 states that are going to get hurt by that are Republican states, so the states that voted for Trump. Food stamps. Republicans and Trump voters have this idea that like 90% of people on food stamps are like black and brown people, when like it's like 70% are white people, white rural people that voted for Trump.
In the Southeast.
They don't realize this. So there's as much as it sucks, there's a part of me that's like, yeah, cut them, cut all those programs, and let's see how bad you hurt your own people. Steve Bannon, believe it or not, Steve Bannon is the one person out there. He's saying it every day. Trump, your voters are on Medicare, your voters are on Medicaid, your voters use food stamps. Like he's trying to tell them this. Trump ain't hearing it. So good luck. Every time he says I'm cutting the Dem policies, like I giggle to myself because I'm like, he has no clue how many of his voters he's gonna fuck. And I think a lot of his voters are like, yeah, cut it. And like the perfect example is Medicare or Obamacare. And in every state, Obamacare is called something different. In Oklahoma, it's called Sooner Care, but it's Obamacare.
Oh,
and when they
God.
announced that there were going to be cuts to Obamacare, a lot of people were like, yeah, get rid of Obamacare. And then they found out that Obamacare is Sooner Care, and they're like, oh, I'm on Sooner Care. No. And they all started to panic because they didn't realize they're on Obamacare. So I say cut away, Trump. Let's see what happens.
You know what a boomer sooner is?
It had to do with the land rush, from what I understand.
Yeah,
Like-
so it was the land rush. So they had like all these parcels of land split out,
Yep.
and the thing is there was like a starting line,
Yep.
and I guess they fire a gun in the air, they say go, and everybody goes and grabs their pieces of land. The Boomer Sooners were the ones who cheated, who in the middle of the night went and got on that piece of property and like claimed their land. So a Boomer Sooner is basically just a cheater.
Have you guys seen? It's a great old movie that you guys probably haven't seen called Far and Away with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman.
No, I don't think I've
Okay,
ever seen that.
it's like an early '90s movie. Anyhow, they come from Ireland. Long story. They end up in one of the Oklahoma land races, and one of the people in the movie does exactly what you're talking about. They go out there and right before, as they see everybody approaching, the guy's like, run the horses around in circles so they look tired, and it's like that's not going to do the trick. But okay, but yeah, no, that's where I live. The land where you had a race for the state where you had a race for your land. So
The land of cheating.
yep, exactly. So anyhow, that's all I got on the shutdown. I'll bet money. I think this is going to break the record. 35 days was the longest in 2018 with Trump. I don't see this getting resolved. It doesn't seem like we're anywhere close to. We're not even negotiating. The two sides aren't talking. So
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Johnson doesn't want to talk to the left.
yeah,
They just want to blame the left. That's all.
So what is your forecast with that? What if it goes day 35, day 40, day 50? We're 180 days in. Like,
So
I think the dominoes have tipped at this point, and I don't see anything that's going to help pick them back up.
I don't think it'll go past January 1st because on January 1st is when the Medicare and Medicaid Obamacare cuts all expire, the subsidies expire. So everybody's health insurance goes up January 1st. And Trump and Republicans have said they want to do something about that. Like they realize it's going to hurt their voters. So like I think they're going to do something about it between now and then that's the only thing the Democrats are asking for. So that should end the shutdown. If out of stubbornness, if they allow us to get past January 1st and everybody's health insurance rates jack up, like here in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're all supposed to start getting letters. If you have insurance with pretty much anybody, you're going to get a letter informing you that your rates are rising. And apparently it might be 10%. It might be like 60%, just depending on your situation.
93%. That's what Chuck Schumer's thing said.
I haven't seen that number anywhere except for on Democratic messaging. It might be true, but I just haven't seen that.
That's what Chuck Schumer's board said.
I thought medical expenses were going down by 1,000%.
Yeah, no, that's certain drugs that Trump is.
Okay.
Yeah, which still
is paid to take them. That's fantastic.
Still not mathematically possible, but whatever. But that's my thing is the letters are going to start going out here apparently like end of October, early November. When those letters start going out, I think Republicans are like the Democrats are winning on the polling right now on this, and Obamacare is more popular than ever. It's 30 points above water right now in all the polling. So I think as those letters start to go out, the pressure is going to start to get bigger on Republicans. And then if somehow this goes all the way through the holidays to January 1st and people's rates actually increase, I think they're going to have to do something. So I think as much as it sucks, I think the Democrats should stand pat on this and not give in on anything and let the Republicans suffer. That's where I think it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, there's about 3 million government employees in the United States. So
yeah,
all those people are going to go on unemployment and start having to suck the teat from that system.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I don't think it gets. I think it's going to go for about 2 or 3 more weeks. But I think once those letters start going out, that's when the pressure is going to get on Republicans.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And I think everybody likes to think it's not going to happen to them. They're like, oh, apparently some people are going to have their health insurance rate go up, but I have good insurance, so not me. And then they're going to get that letter, and they're going to go, oh shit, like my insurance is going up, and suddenly they're not going to be as cool about it.
Yeah, I've never been happier to be uninsured.
You have the health savings account, right?
I have nothing, man.
Okay,
take a look at this. See this? I don't know if y'all can see that bone sticking out of my
eye. Yeah, that doesn't look healthy, man.
No, that's bad.
That's not. Yeah, it's when a collarbone detaches from your scapula and you have 3 torn ligaments.
Ugh.
And don't have the $40,000 to go walk into a hospital to get that squared away.
$40,000?
That's a perfect example right there. Is we live in the richest country on earth, in the history of the earth, and I have a knee that I can't really afford to go get checked out. It's not nearly as bad as your shoulder. You've got a shoulder that appears to need surgery, and you can't afford to get done. Like, this shouldn't be happening in the wealthiest country. Me and you both work. Like, we work. We should have insurance.
And I'm not rich, but I'm not poor.
Yeah, this is some bullshit right there. Like, even just to, I know that just to go get my knee looked at, it's going to be $800 to $1,000 before I have an answer on what's wrong with my knee. And that's just an answer, let alone what are we going to do about it? Like, I don't have $1,000 sitting around right now. Like, times are tight. The economy appears to be tipping in the wrong direction. I got to save my money. So this is why I think Democrats are ultimately going to win this message. So,
Jesse, you could probably just go to Canada and get that fixed.
Hey man, we're figuring out something. I'm going to go to Costa Rica here in about 6 weeks, and granted, I'm not too trustworthy with their medical.
Yeah, you should run down to Mexico and get that looked at.
I think Canada might be a better option, but I mean, who knows?
Let's go to Canada, and then we'll stage a fall in a public place where you could be like, "Oh, I slipped on this wet floor of this public building, and now you guys have to fix it," and it'll be perfect. Yeah. A slip and fall.
Oh, trust me, I have not thought about that at all.
Yeah, not at all. Awesome. All right.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.